All you ghoulish gourmets, and we're going to be making Richard's New Year's Evil chocolate eclairs today because it's New Year's Eve, and I always watch New Year's Evil on New Year's Eve, regardless of what else I'm doing. Steve was making a noise. It doesn't look like anybody's in here right now. I do apologize. I had to push back the time twice because I was trying to get things ready for this so I wouldn't be like baking and making the pastry filling and all that stuff because I don't think y'all really need to watch all of that stuff. Okay. So while there's nobody else in here, I will go over some things and some modifications that I made to this chocolate frosted eclairs recipe, which these are created by a pastry chef, Joanne Chang, who's co-owner of the Boston's Flour Bakery Cafe. So I don't know how many of you have heard of her. I had not, but this eclair recipe seemed pretty easy. I'd never made eclairs before, and so I kind of wanted something easy to do. Now, the only thing I haven't done is I haven't melted our chocolate and butter for the frosting, and I will be doing that now. But everything else I pretty much have ready to go. Actually, going now so that it'll be ready for us. And I'm going to add the haunted food cam, and I forgot to add the little haunted food cam logo today because, as always, what I do is I'm a day late and a dollar short every time, always running behind. Um, so you can see that I have one of the eclairs over here ready to put the filling in and the icing on. But I want to talk about this recipe first of all. So for the pastry part of it, you'll need a cup of water. You'll need 1 stick of unsalted butter. And I also have the link to this recipe that I used in the description for the video. 2 tablespoons of sugar, a fourth teaspoon of kosher salt, and a cup plus 2 tablespoons of all purpose flour and 4 large eggs. This takes a lot of eggs, so make sure you have plenty of eggs before you start this recipe. Now, the pastry cream, which I will show you guys what this looks like here. And I've taste tested it. It tastes pretty good. You will need 2 cups of whole milk, not 2%, not skim, none of that, whole milk. Now, a modification I made is it says 1/4 vanilla bean with the seeds scraped. And I was like, first of all, I don't know if I can get a vanilla bean at our grocery store. So what I did was I just substituted a couple of teaspoons of imitation vanilla flavor. Now, if you can find vanilla beans in your neck of the woods, then by all means do that. But I just wasn't sure that I would be able to do that. You also need a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. I did make these sugar free. I used the Splenda blend. So you can. It is possible to make these low sugar or sugar free. 5 tablespoons of cake flour, a pinch of kosher salt, 1 large egg and 2 large egg yolks, and a fourth of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Okay, and for the chocolate glaze, we'll need, they say 4 ounces of bittersweet chocolate chopped. I didn't really want to do that because I didn't think bittersweet chocolate would taste very good on this. So you probably saw this. Show those again. These are just semi-sweet, 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips that I'm going to be using. And you also need 4 tablespoons of butter softened. And so I've just had this butter out getting softened. Okay. So to make these, just real quickly here, I preheated the oven to 400 degrees. And in a medium saucepan, I brought water, butter, sugar, and salt to a boil over moderate heat. I then removed the pan from the heat. I added the flour, stirred vigorously with a wooden spoon for about 2 minutes until dough comes together and a film forms on the bottom of the pan. Now, I didn't really get the film on the bottom of the pan, but don't worry, the dough still turned out perfectly, in my opinion. So if you don't get the film on the bottom of the pan, but it forms dough, I think you will actually be good. Mayor, that's a very good question, and one I wondered about when I first started doing a lot of cooking. How much is actually a pinch? Well, for me, what I do is I put a little salt in the palm of my hand, and then I just pinch my fingers together and take a pinch of it out, and that's what I use. Now, you might ask other people how they do it, and they may give you different answers, but that's how I do it, and it seems to work for me. Um, then you transfer the dough to a large bowl and you beat at medium speed until slightly cooled, about a minute. You add the eggs one at a time, beating well after each addition. Then you put the dough. Okay, they say to, here's another slight modification I did. They said to transfer dough to a pastry bag fitted with 1 inch round tip pipe 12 uh, 5-inch long logs onto parchment lined baking sheet. Instead, I bought some silicone baking trays. I got a set of two from Amazon. Um, and, you know, as you can see here, I'll show this a little bit closer. They're not, exactly beautiful, but they have the shape of an eclair. So that's what I use. Now, if you want to be adventurous and use the pastry bag and the tip for the pastry bag, then by all means, do you do that. You do you. Um, so then you bake them at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Then you turn down the temp to 325 and bake the shells for 30 minutes longer until golden brown. Then you transfer to a baking rack to cool. Okay. So to make the pastry cream, which again, let me show you this pastry cream, how it looks when it's done. So in a medium saucepan, you're going to bring the milk, the vanilla bean, or the vanilla imitation vanilla if you go the route I did, to just a boil. Meanwhile, in a large bowl with sugar, with cake flour and salt, whisk in egg and egg yolks. Slowly add your hot milk, whisking constantly. Pour mixture back into the saucepan. Bring to a boil over moderate heat, whisking constantly. Continue to boil pastry cream, whisking constantly until thick, about 30 seconds longer. Immediately, I did not strain it through a sieve or how you pronounce that into a medium bowl. I simply just put it in the medium bowl. I don't know if that's to prevent lumps and keep it creamier or whatever, but I thought mine turned out just fine. Um, you cover it with plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 30 minutes or until cool. Now, then you have your heavy cream. In a medium bowl, whip heavy cream until soft peaks form. Whisk the pastry cream, then fold in whipped cream until blended. And what I just showed you, that's basically how it will look. Okay, so I have not done the chocolate glaze yet. So what we want to do in a medium bowl, I don't really have a medium bowl, but this is, microwave safe. We're going to melt these chocolate chips we bought in the microwave at 50% power, being very careful not to overheat it. Then we're going to whisk in our butter until smooth. And at that point, I may put it in a little bit of, I'm going to have to wash a lot of these bowls anyway later. So I probably will be using this bowl. Okay. So I'm going to go over to the microwave and I am going to melt this. Then we're going to, put in our butter and get that frosting all ready to go. And of course, I got stuff in my way again. When you have a kitchen as small as I do, you don't have much countertop space, but you just have to make do with what you got. So I'm going to keep a close eye on the chocolate so it doesn't get too cooked, I guess. Don't overcook it. And I suppose you could do this in a double boiler as well. But frankly, I was a little lazy and didn't want to drag out the double boiler to use. So I wouldn't recommend doing this. I just stuck my finger into the filling just to taste it, and it does taste good, by the way. Sorry for the noise in the background. Steve is watching the church, so I'm gonna just stir these chocolate chips a little bit. Oh yeah, they might be just about right now. And they said to dip the eclairs in in the frosting, but I'm just gonna take a knife and spread it on there. We're gonna put our butter in there. We're gonna get this all mixed up real good. You may find that you have to melt your butter slightly if it doesn't seem to want to mix in with your chocolate. And basically, you could use any kind of chocolate that you want to. If you wanted to use milk chocolate, I don't see why you couldn't do that as well. But this is what I had on hand, so I thought I'll just. We're just making sure we get our butter mixed up into our chocolate chips. Just basically want to get that mixed in there real good until it's nice and smooth. Steve says he's going to eat some of these Eclairs, so I hope he does. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to melt this for just a little bit longer. Maybe for about 15 more seconds. Just going to mix it up real good here. See how that looks. All right. So, with a serrated knife, which I've got my steak knife here. See, you're going to cut the eclair shells lengthwise. So I'm going to attempt to do this here. I'm going to make this screen the solo layout. And I'm going to attempt maybe I better do it this way. And you know, I wanted to have these cut before I got on here just in case the cutting wasn't real good, but kind of ran out of time. So we can see that and you can, you know, part way open them up, cut it all the way off, or however you want to do it. Do it like a hot dog bun or whatever. So then we're going to spoon some of the pastry cream into the bottom half. And you will see I have a new spoon that says you have been poisoned. I just thought that was funny. So we're going to use this to spoon some of our pastry filling into the shell here. I know I'm a little bit messy. Kind of spread it in. And then we're going to fold that back over. It's okay if the pastry comes out the sides a little bit. It's supposed to do that. And then we're going to put a little chocolate frosting on the top here. Try not to make too much of a mess here. We'll put as much or as little chocolate frosting as you want to on top of these eclairs. Look kind of pretty there. And once you get everything made, that's about all there is to it, to making the eclairs. What I also did was I purchased from Amazon. I didn't know if they were going to come in time. Thankfully, they did. Um, these little dessert trays, and they're black on the outside, gold on the inside. I thought that was perfect for New Year's Eve. They got plastic tops, and you probably won't need these for the eclairs, but if you did some kind of cake dessert or something like that, you've got sporks as well that came with these. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set our eclair right in there in our tray, and it sits in there beautifully. So that, guys and gals, once you get all the ingredients done and ready to go, that is, I'm gonna exit solo layout here. I'm gonna make myself the solo layout. So uh that's all there is to it, guys and gals. You have seen me make a chocolate eclair. So if you've never made eclairs before, Steve's in there climbing. If you've never made eclairs before, this would probably be a good recipe to start with, just because it's easy, or I find it easy. Um, I'm not really going to sit here and do all 10 of these on camera. I just basically wanted to show you how to assemble them. So we had about 4 people in here. It may have been because like I said, because I had to change the time so many or a couple of times, and people might have said, "Oh, screw it," she just keeps changing the time. I'm not gonna, wait around for this. Or it's New Year's Eve. People are busy doing other things besides watching a live stream. But I thank the mayor and the other people that were in here watching as I created the Richard's New Year's Evil chocolate eclairs. Now, the recipe wasn't originally mine, but the idea behind it, calling it Richard's New Year's Evil chocolate eclairs, for a lot of different reasons. It is New Year's Eve. New Year's Evil is a horror film that I watched every New Year's Eve. Um, and also, you know, these are kind of decadent. Don't that go along with evil a little bit? So I hope you have enjoyed this. And hopefully I'll be back with another, can't even talk, another movie munchies here soon. I thank all of you for joining me, and I hope all of you at Plus More can join me for the Terror Train watch along tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This will be the second annual New Year's Eve watch along for Deadites on Deck. And I hope to see all of you there. And have a great rest of your New Year's Eve. And I hope everybody has great resolutions for the new year. 2024 is upon us. So I will see you next time, folks. Bye for now.